I don't know if you've ever found it hard to love somebody in your life, or maybe you've been in that argument and you're about to say that thing that you know you shouldn't say. It's about to escalate it to a whole nother level, but you just can't help yourself. Sometimes if we're really honest, it's really hard to love people. And I think I've understood, at least in my life, why that is. There's a moment in the book of Matthew right before Jesus is put to death. And it's this moment where this figure, this man who had claimed to be the Messiah, looked like anything but. And in Matthew chapter 27, verse 30, it says this shortly before his death. It says, "They spit on him and took the staff and struck him on the head again and again. After they had mocked him, they took off the robe and put his clothes back on him. Then they led him away to crucify him." I think if we're being really honest, if we're looking at Jesus in the Bible, this man who had claimed to be God's son, who was being beaten and mocked and was about to be crucified, if we're being really honest, sometimes it can be really hard to love because sometimes love looks like losing. And a lot of people looked at Jesus that day as a man who was being humiliated and a man who was eventually put to death, and they said, "Ha ha, he just lost. He's everything that we said he was. He's nothing that he said he is." And if we're being really honest, sometimes love just looks like losing. It looked like Jesus lost that day on the cross, when in fact, Jesus wasn't losing, he was loving. And sometimes what we're called to do is to lose. Jesus has not called us to win. He's not called us to win culture, to win battles, to win arguments. He's simply called us to love. He said, the greatest commandment, love God. The second greatest, love people. All you and I have been put on this earth to do is not win anything. It's to love people. And the question is, can you love even when it looks like you lose? Because when we look to the cross, we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that Jesus wasn't losing, he was loving.